Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are San Diego.
Along the Mississippi, the famed and brilliant Gateway Arch. St. Louis is the scene, and the final game of the four-game series, the San Diego Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals. And a happy Sunday to you all with Mark Grant, Dick Enberg. Sunday has been the Padres' best day of the week. They've won more games on this day than any other, and they're coming fresh from a great comeback. They're down 4-0 last night and wind up with a 9-5 win.
Yeah, that was a big victory because now the Padres have a chance to split the series in this four-game series, but they got their work cut out for them this afternoon with Adam Wainwright on the hill for the Redbirds.
Well, Jed Jerko crushed the big blow with the Padres trailing 5-4, a grand slam last night.
Boy, Jed did have a good night last night at the plate, and it all starts with going and using the whole field. The single down the right field line, and then he crushed the ball down in. That's his hot zone. Jed Jerko, remember last year, 23 home runs, 26 doubles. He's maybe putting some pressure on himself. Being hurt didn't help, but sometimes players got to say, you know what, to heck with it. I'm going back to the old school approach. I'm going to see ball, hit ball, use the whole field, and that's exactly what we saw Jed Jerko do last night.
And despite missing time on the DL, Jerko now is the Padres' RBI leader with 41. And now the key will be, will the Padres be able to solve the right-handed talent, Adam Wainwright?
When you look at Adam Wainwright, it seems like every year he's in the top 5 in every category. This Redbird right-hander right now, 14 wins, tied for second. The ERA, 2.34. Why? He has an assortment of pitches that he can locate anytime, any count. Now, he's kind of somewhat reinvented himself. We might see Adam Wainwright mess around with his delivery. We might see him change arm angles. We might see him change speeds on all of his pitches. What Adam Wainwright will we see? One thing is for sure, he's always tough to hit.
You sounded as if you were describing the Padre pitcher, not the St. Louis pitcher.
That's exactly right. Both guys today may be mixing it up.
Dreesen or Despagne, he'll show you different angles and different speeds, and he's off an outstanding 7 innings of shutout ball his last start, striking out 8. We'll talk about OD when we return to St. Louis. After some ugly weather last night, a rain delay, and then a heavy storm through the evening, it appears the weatherman's going to cooperate today, and O.D. Despaigne goes for his 4th win of the year.
And last time out for Odrisamer Despaigne, he had a good one, 7 solid innings against the Colorado Rockies. Hopefully he ties together 2 good outings like the last one, because this game right here will even the series. And when you look at last Tuesday check that against the Rockies in the 4-1 win, what did he do? Yeah, he kept the off-speed going, but I think he used more of the fastball. He's got the 2-seam fastball, the 4-seam fastball. Don't underestimate it, because he has touched 95 before and then dropped the angle on the arm and the slider. 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Hopefully that carries over today against the St. Louis Cardinals in the last game of the series.
Well, Despaigne draws a very, very tough opponent. Adam Wainwright is a 14-7 record. Will the Padres be able to get to him?
You know what? It's going to be a crapshoot. Adam Wainwright has pitched very, very well, and they've got some offense in the name of Matt Adams as well. So they're going to have to contend against Adam Wainwright and Matt Adams in the lineup. What has he done? He's only been 6 for 11 in the series. This kid was drafted in 2009. They call him Big City because he's a big cat, and he was the 699th player picked in that 09 draft. Triple, 2 RBIs, and you know what, Dick? For a big guy, he uses the whole field. When he fights off pitches in or off the plate, he muscles it to the outfield, and he can run a little bit too. He's quite an addition in the Redbirds lineup.
260-pounder you saw stretch that last drive last evening into a triple, so the Padres have to stop Matt Adams. And when we come back to St. Louis, how about Jake Gobert? Not only was it Jerko last night, but Gobert cleared the bases. Chris Button with that report when we come back to Busch Stadium.
Welcome back to St. Louis. Since Jake Gobert got called back up last Tuesday, he has had some clutch hits, has 4 RBIs in just 5 at-bats. I talked to him about what's been the difference. He says he's just more comfortable this time around.
One of the biggest differences is just being comfortable in the clubhouse, you know, coming back up and knowing the guys and the coaching staff and really having a good feel just for the environment. I think that really helps. Definitely learned a lot going back down and then about baseball and about the game in general. So to have this opportunity again is something that, you know, I'm cherishing very much, and I just want to keep giving myself the best opportunity I can to succeed, and it's just been fun.
And that's your Geico quote of the game. Maybe we'll see some more from him today. It'll be a tough pitching duo, a battle between Odrisamer Despaigne and Adam Wainwright. We got first pitch coming up as the Padres try and even the series before they head out to LA. First pitch on Fox Sports San Diego.
Excellent success against the Padres, 22-6. So that nice win was special for San Diego. Well, before the game, Tony La Russa, the former skipper here of the St. Louis Cardinals, throwing the ceremonial first pitch to the current manager, Mike Matheny.
Very nice. Tony La Russa donning the red sport coat after being inducted into the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
And the Baseball Hall of Fame this summer.
Actually, he came up to me before the game. He said, "Hey, Mud, I got a couple of acres outside of St. Louis I'd like to sell you." Got the real estate jacket on. There's number 10. Managed the Cardinals from 96 to 2011. All-time wins leader as Cardinals manager. 3 pennants and 2 World Series for number 10, Tony La Russa.
You know, while we're on the shot of the Hall of Famers out there in the left field wall, it might be a good time to identify what's a home run and not a home run. As we pull out, there's a advertising bank behind the wall, and that is not directly above the wall. It's 2 or 3 feet behind, so it can be a little confusing as to what is a home run here to left field in St. Louis.
Right, Dick, you make a good point, because last night Jet Jerko's home run hit about there, and when you see the Hall of Famers, there's a line right here. Beyond that line, there's like maybe 1.5 or 2 feet to where it goes back to this sign here. So anything hit over this line this way, oh, it's a goner.
So it doesn't have to be in the seats for a home run.
Right.
We just thought, just in case one of the Padres tags one against Adam Wainwright today. Cardinals take the field, and the Padres lineup is set. Brought to you by Toyota. Jan Solarte will lead it off at third. Then Abraham Almonte in center. Seth Smith continues to rip away. He had 3 hits last night. Yasmani Grandal, a monster home run 2 nights ago. Jed Jerko, 5 RBIs yesterday with a grand slam and an RBI single. Jake Gobert cleared the bases with a triple. Another big hit in the 9-5 win last evening. Will Venable in right field bats 7th, and Alexi Amarista and Odrisamer Despaigne.
Well, the Cardinals always have a good feeling when number 50, Adam Wainwright, takes the hill. 32-year-old making his 25th start. We talked a little bit about him in our open. His repertoire, the scouting report, looks something like this. Fastball, you see the 87-94. He's probably going to be living around 91. He'll throw the cutter into lefties. A nice breaking curveball, power curveball from 12 to 6.
Which is his best pitch?
I would say all of them.
There you
Dick,
go.
no, that's a fair question. But when Adam Wainwright is on his game, he can locate those pitches. And all of them are darn good.
Cardinal defense brought to you by Honda. Behind Wainwright features John Jay, center fielder last night. He's in left field. Peter Borges in center. Oscar Taveras will be in right field. On the infield, Carpenter and Peralta on the left side. Wong and Adams at second and first. And young Tony Cruz behind the plate for Wainwright. And we're set to go. The Cardinals start today 3 games behind Milwaukee in the National League Central. The Padres, with the Dodgers losing last night, are currently 10.5 back of L.A., and that's where we head after the game this afternoon to Los Angeles. Off day tomorrow, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night against the Dodgers. About 10 degrees cooler than the 3 nights that preceded this. The weather making it much more comfortable. James Hoy calls balls and strikes. Davidson, Tumpain, and Welke on the bases, and Wainwright is ready to go, and so are we. Solarte steps in, and the first pitch is grounded right to the shortstop Peralta. 1 pitch, 1 quick out.
Now let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by your Honda dealers of San Diego County, with Adam Wainwright on the hill. Last game of the series. Hey, crooked numbers, multiple innings for the Padres. 4 runs in the 3rd last night, 4 runs in the 7th in their 9-5 victory, as Dick just mentioned, and then contain Adams and Peralta. We talked about Big City Matt Adams, 6 for 11 in the series, and Johnny Peralta, he can do some damage as well.
5 for 12 for Peralta, so between them, they're 11 for 23 in the series. And they're hitting back-to-back 3rd and 4th today. Abraham Almonte, the switch-hitting outfielder, shows bunt and takes ball 1. Almonte with another excellent defensive play last night, but he also misplayed a ball, a single into a double, and an extra run for the Cardinals. 1-1. Padres, since the All-Star break, 17-10. That's the best record in the National League. He'll hit the corners. He paints inside and outside.
That looked like that cutter I was just talking about, Dick. Into the left-handed hitters, little cut fastball. Just caught the corner on Fox Tracks. Pitch number 3.
And misses with a breaking ball, the curve. 2-2. Wainwright, a big presence out there on the rubber, 6'7" and 235. From Brunswick, Georgia. And he has Almonte frozen with that slow curveball. First strikeout for Wainwright.
Dick, we had a discussion with broadcaster Ricky Horton before the ball game. And did you see what Wainwright did on that last pitch? He kind of came up and paused a little bit. Going old school, Satchel Paige. He will vary his delivery. Sometimes he'll go over the head, sometimes he won't. Sometimes he'll be quick with his delivery, sometimes he'll be slow and deliberate. He kind of stopped a little bit there on that strikeout. So we'll have to keep an eye on that this afternoon.
Doesn't allow the hitter a rhythm.
Right.
He pitches the same in terms of his motion, whether it's a fastball, breaking ball, change. Let's see what he does this time to Seth Smith. Routine inside.
That one looked free and easy like the Adam Wainwright, but see how this last pitch here, that was a curveball, outside corner.
He won't throw many in the heart of the plate. Seth Smith, 3 hits last night to raise his average to 297. Hits that one deep to left center field. A long run, and Borges almost ran out of room as Smith tied that one and hit it well, but a couple feet shy of extra bases. Here come the Cardinals in the first. 8 pitches to retire the side in order. And bottom of the first inning, the Cardinals come to bat against Odrisamer Despaigne. And a look at the Cardinals starting lineup brought to you by Mattress Discounters. Matt Carpenter, their superb leadoff man. Then it'll be rookie Kelton Wong. Johnny Peralta hit a 2-run homer in the 4-3 win on Thursday night. Kept after Peralta, cleanup man Matt Adams. Mark already mentioned 6 for 11 in the series. John Jay bats 5th. Oscar Taveras, the promising young outfielder, will be hitting in the 6th slot. Peter Borges 7th. Tony Cruz behind the plate, and Adam Wainwright, a good hitter.
Scouting report for right-hander Odrisamer Despaigne looks something like this, and it's sponsored by Jaguar of San Diego. Be aggressive with the fastball. Don't try to trick him. Had a nice conversation with Bud Black, and he said just that. He's got a good fastball. He can two-seam it. He can four-seam it. Yeah, he's going to mix in some breaking balls, but don't rely on the breaking ball all afternoon.
Carpenter leads it off, and Despaigne's first pitch is taken inside, and he does start with a fastball, but at 87. Mike Matheny replacing Tony La Russa as the manager. It's his 3rd year. First 2 years got the Cardinals into the playoffs, the World Series last year. Carpenter takes a lot of pitches. He has walked 68 times. That's terrific for a leadoff man. Combine that with 129 hits, he leads the Cardinals. He's on base a lot. And he's on base to start the game today. Solid single to center field. Padres defense brought to you by the Aramco Group. In the outfield, it'll be Seth Smith in left, Salmonte in center, and Venable in right field. The infield, Solarte and Amarista, Jerko and Gobert on the right side, Grandal behind the plate. Kelton Wong, left-handed hitting rookie second baseman, has some punch, 9 home runs.
Going to have to keep an eye on the velocity through that fastball, Dick. You made reference to it. Last few pitches, the fastball 88, 89. Got to have some movement to go along with that, though. Maybe just starting out, getting a little feel for that old number 1.
Up high, 2-0.
Looks like he cut that one just a little bit.
You know, the Cardinals in each of the first 3 games of the series have jumped to a quick early lead. 2-0 on their way to a 4-3 win in game 1. 2-0 the next night. They won 4-2. They were 4-0 last night. And they threaten here with a single Carpenter and 3-0 now to Wong. And that was the difficulty in the Friday night game with Tyson Ross walking the first 3 men in the first inning, and the Cardinals getting 2 runs early. And wow, not even close. 4-pitch walk to Wong. 2 on with no one out, and here come the big boys, Peralta and Adams.
Okay, time to make an adjustment. Grandal playing pitching coach right here as runners are at first and second. What is that adjustment? Hey, aim for my shoe tops. It might be something that Yasmani Grandal says, hey, aim for a shin guard. All your pitches have been up, and away.
Peralta, former Tiger, 264 is average. Leads the team with 16 homers.
Let's see if he starts him out here with a breaking ball. First pitch slider.
Grounds into a lot of double plays, Peralta, 16. Oh, way inside. 5 in a row out of the zone. Two on, no one out here in the first. Big swing and a miss. So he is indeed, as you suggested, Mark Grant, staying with the fastball early on.
And even though that was a hitter's count, right? That was a fastball that was very hittable for Johnny Peralta, but he was unable to connect.
2 on, no one out. And 2 strikes now to Johnny Peralta. Peralta homered A 2-run shot against Eric Stoltz on Thursday night that gave the Cardinals a 2-0 lead.
Talk about location, Dick. That's exactly where Despaigne has to be. See the swing of Peralta? It was kind of like a field swing, upper half. That pitch down and away, and it sounds like the same broken record for every pitcher, but especially Despaigne. He needs to locate that down and away, and he made an adjustment. That was a good pitch.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Oh, breaking ball that hung inside. 2-2.
Yeah, I think that one got away from him. I think he wanted to go back down away because he spun that one up there. Just released it a little bit too quickly.
Not close again. A foot or more inside and now a foot outside. Full count to Peralta. Javier Molina, the most valuable player, injured, fractured thumb, expected to return in September. Fly ball to right. Venable comes in to make the catch, and there's one away. That'll bring up Matt Adams, the Husky first baseman. It shows you that some scouts just see something in a kid, say, let's take a chance on him. Yeah. As Mark Grant said, 699th player selected in the draft 5 years ago. Just a big old country boy, although they call him Big City. And look what he's doing. He's leading his team in hitting with 308, 12 homers. And he has hit the ball hard the whole series. 2 on, 1 out.
It's kind of built like Jim Thome. Remember Jim Thome?
Yes, that's a good call.
Indians, Phillies.
Against right-handed pitching, he's second to Justin Morneau of the Rockies. Now he comes up there with a right-hander on the mound, salivating.
Well, the Cardinals sure did a good job in that draft, 2009. Matt Carpenter, 399th pick. Matt Adams, as Dick just mentioned, 699.
Carpenter at second with a leadoff single.
Not a bad combo, huh? Leadoff hitter and cleanup hitter.
Doesn't always have to be the number 1, number 2 drafts to make it to the big leagues. Late on that swing. Might have been looking for something else.
He was late on that. Tardy on the 2-seam fastball, off the plate a little bit.
Carpenter at second with a single. Wong at first. He walked. 1 out here in the first. And the count levels at 2-2.
Wow, the style of shoes that they're coming out with these days. The multi-color. He's got his name on his shoes. That is very cool. See what happens when you make it to the big leagues, Dick? You can have, you know, your name on your glove, name on your shoes, name on your batting gloves.
Two on, 2-2 the pitch. Drive to center field, and Almonte will have to play it on a hop. Carpenter stops at third, and Almonte thought he was going to score. Almonte threw the ball to third. The bases are loaded. So Adams, another hit. Boy, he just has been very impressive this 4-game series. He was in a slump at the start of the series.
Well, from the times I've seen Matt Adams, big, strong, obviously good plate coverage too. That ball, it's a breaking ball, speeds up his bat. And you know what, Matt Adams also, he's one of those hitters, he can get fooled, and he's just so strong on the upper body. Even if he just swings upper body, he can hurt you, even though that was just a single. Ball came off his bat very nicely.
John Jay, the batter. Bases loaded, 1 out. Pulled foul down the right field line. Back to Davis. He was 3 for 27 coming into the series, and he has awakened 7 for 12. Some tough work to be done here for Despaigne. 1-1. 20 pitch first inning. Now we've got one loud fan right below our broadcast booth. Sounds like he's sitting right behind us, Mark.
He's trying to rally the crowd here.
Line drive, base hit, another hit. They're waving home Wong. The throw by Venable cut off. It's 2-0. So the Cardinals have done it again. Early scoring.
Well, when it seems like Odrisamer is having trouble throwing strikes, when he does throw the strikes, he's wild in the strike zone. That's almost like a two-part swing from John Jay. Why? Because he took the stride. He recognized that it was a soft breaking ball, a curveball. He stayed back on it, kept the hands back, and pulled that baseball for the 2-run single.
So this has been a pattern in the series. Game 1, the 2-run homer by Peralta, giving the Cardinals a 2-0 lead, and they won that game 4-3. They scored 2 against Tyson Ross when he walked the bases loaded to open the game on their way to a 4-2 win. That was game 2. Then last night they scored 4 times off Jesse Hahn in the second inning for a 4-0 lead, only to find the Padres rallying and winning 9-5. But the mountain gets mighty tough to climb when you give the opposing team a significant early lead. 2-0, and Oscar Taveras, the right fielder, rookie, highly touted, had a couple of hits last night, including an RBI double to deep center field. That ball hit well. Almonte able to come in and make the grab for the second out. Didn't quite get it on the sweet spot. Here's Peter Borges. I like the way Almonte covers ground in the outfield. He's a lot faster than I thought.
Absolutely, and you've got to love his aggressiveness. Remember the other day when he kind of slid and that ball bounced over his head. But no, he's giving it his all out there, covering some ground.
Borges, the speedy outfielder for the Cardinals, hitting .221. Matt Holliday given the day off in the starting lineup. Holliday in a terrible slump. He's 0 for the last 19, and against the Padres this year, a team that he's always enjoyed hitting against, he's 1 for 21. So Matheny decided to put Holliday on the bench, at least at the start.
Well, here's what I'm hoping. Odrisamer gets out of this inning with just 2 runs across and has a little sit down with pitching coach Darren Balsley in the dugout, because Tyson Ross did the exact same thing the other day when he was wild, and Tyson ironed things out. And what Darren told him is stay behind the ball and spin the ball on your fastball.
There's a strike, 2-1, but Despaigne is falling behind early every hitter. 2-0, 2-0, and eventually has to come in. Single by Carpenter. He walked Wong on 4 pitches. Adams lined a single to center to load him up, and Jay has singled in 2 runs. Taveras flies out, and now the count is 2-2 on Borges.
So Darren says when you stay on the ball and concentrate on spinning that ball on your fastball, what does that do? Think about it. You're on line towards home plate and you stay on the ball longer, therefore your release point is out front a little bit more. You're not cutting it loose early. Out front just a little bit more, and that's the adjustment Tyson Ross did the other day. There you go.
Ooh, pretty good pitch. Just off the edge, apparently. The eye of James Hoy, the plate umpire. Full count. Runners off with a pitch. Two-run first inning, and Despaigne trying to get Borges here to end it. Ground ball to short. Amrista can't get it. Here comes another run. Adams scores. It's 3-0. Jay stops at second. The Cardinals hit parade continues.
Just out of the reach of Amarista at shortstop.
I thought he was going to smother that, didn't you?
Yeah, and you know what? Even if he gets to that ball, kind of tough to get the force at Jay at second. He was up at the crack of the bat, and with the way Board just runs.
But if he had able to glove it,
save the run.
He would have saved the run. Bases would have been loaded. Here's the 8th man to bat in the first inning, Tony Cruz, the catcher, hitting just .214. Finally, a first pitch strike. See how that impacts this at bat. No home runs for Cruz. Of course, Yadier Molina was the everyday catcher until injured, and then they picked up A.J. Brzezinski, who's gotten more of the catching responsibility with Molina on the DL.
Heavy workload this inning, 30 pitches. And down on that field, you can see that it's a little muggy. You can see he's shaking his head a little bit, frustrated. Yadier Molina watching every single pitch. You're not thinking that he wants to get back out there as soon as possible?
Shows you what kind of leader he is. He's just there at batting practice, there at a game, giving encouragement and advice.
You know, Dave Duncan under Tony La Russa for many, many years with the White Sox, the A's, the Cardinals. If there's one question I try to ask Yadier Molina, I'll say, would you be interested in being a pitching coach?
Borges goes, line single to right off the bat of Cruz on the hit and run, 4-0. As Jay comes in, and the Cardinals with 4 runs have batted around here in the first inning. Oh, it's almost as if they know what's coming.
Wild in the zone. Cruz stays behind that one. Big swing, but inside out. The hands first, the barrel follows. And Borges is always one of those runners who's going to be going. They like to send the runners a lot. Mike Matheny does.
4 runs on 5 hits and a walk here in the first inning. Despaigne. Here's the pitcher Wainwright, and he is far from an automatic out. Career average over 200 with 6 home runs. Two and 0.
Boy, very frustrated. You see the body language. What to do next? Boy, I've tried this. I've tried that. And this is Tim Stauffer territory, right?
Yeah, long relief. Yeah, long relief, man. He's getting up just in case. First and third, 2 outs to Wainwright. 2-0 the count. 3-0 to the pitcher. Three and 1. Despaigne, total opposite of what he offered the last time out against Colorado Tuesday at Petco, when he went 7 innings with no runs and 8 strikeouts. Good cut by Wainwright.
I mean, it's plain and simple. He just hasn't been able to locate the fastball early. And when he's thrown it over the plate, the Cardinals are taking advantage of it.
Runner goes from first. Pop up into shallow center. Almonte cruises in under it, and finally the first inning comes to an end. But the Birds were flapping their wings in the first inning. 4 runs on 5 hits, and again they jump to a big early advantage.
of the second. An update on Yonder Alonso. He got his wrist checked out again. Ends up that he has a torn tendon in that right wrist. He's going to seek a second opinion, but it is possible that he'll have to have surgery on it, and it is doubtful that he will play the rest of the year. So again, a torn tendon. He's going to meet with another doctor, get a second opinion, figure out if surgery is the best option. But whether he has that surgery or not, he will not likely be seen the rest of the year, guys.
Yeah, bad news, Chris. Thank you for the report. So Alonso basically able to play just about a half the season, 84 games on the DL twice, and now we'll get that surgery and hopefully be in good shape when March in Peoria rolls around next year. Well, Wainwright, here's a man whose ERA on the season is 2.34, and he's got a 4-0 lead after one. It's Monty Grandal, then Jed Jerko, and Jake Gobert.
Hey, Bud Black, the skipper for the Padres, talking to Jed Jerko, talking to Alexi Amarista, the middle infielders. It looks like a little pump-up session there. Could be something else.
Grandal with a fly ball to right. One away. Meanwhile, Darren Balsley, the pitching coach, in the year of Despaigne.
And I want to revert back to what Tyson Ross was told when he struggled early on. And Darren told me, he says, you know what, I try to keep it really simple. I mean, let's face it, the guy just gave up 4 runs. He gave up 5 hits. He's struggling. The last thing that he wants to hear is a bunch of stuff thrown at him. Let's see if next inning he really tries to concentrate on staying behind the ball and spinning it on that fastball, staying towards home plate to have better location.
Here's Jerko. 5 RBIs last night, an RBI single to right, and the grand slam homer. And just to further go through your exercise and how psychologically, in a way, pitching coach tries to give a little information that helps. You know, and you're saying, instead of going to him and say, hey, you're hanging on the ball too long, you got to try to reach out farther. Just a little tip, like spin the ball,
sure,
which is, totally, you would think totally different, but it actually accomplishes the same.
Absolutely. And I've got another analogy for you. After we see the grand slam, that's the pitch he should crush, right, Dick? The fastball down and in. Jed did a great job of going the opposite way with the single to right field. But you talk about a huge home run. We saw it last night.
Another fly ball to the right fielder, Taveras. He's taken care of both outs here in the second.
How about the analogy of shooting a free throw? If you told the free throw shooter, hey, stay on the ball, spin that ball, what is that? His hand would probably stay on the ball a little longer, and therefore he'd have better direction towards the rim, right? Same principle, I think, when it comes to pitching with the baseball.
Did you spin your free throws?
I was 0 for lifetime
bricks
from the charity stripe.
Jake Gobert, bases loaded triple last night. That was big because it brought the Padres back from their 4-0 deficit, tied the game in the second inning. Oh, 0-2. Wainwright, 3 straight outfield putouts, 5 in a row. Retired off the top of the game. Bounces that one off the chest protector of Cruz. Last night, bases loaded, pulled that one by Matt Adams at first base, right down into the right field corner, and chased 3 runners home to tie the game. His first big league triple. I take that back. He actually had a triple on his first tour in the major leagues. That was his second. Bad news is the Padres fall behind 4-0. The good news is it's early in the game. They were down 4-0 last night and rallied. Skips into the Cardinal dugout and then off the roof into the crowd.
I think this would be a nice test for Jake Gobert. Hitting against a guy like Adam Wainwright to see what a big league pitcher like he has coming at him. That was a cutter the last pitch.
Hangs the breaking ball, curveball. Full count. 20 pitches for Wainwright. He's gotten 5 outs. 37 pitches for Despagne in the first inning. Another foul.
Jake is quick to the ball inside, that's for sure. We showed that triple you just talked about, and then those last 2 cut fastballs over the Cardinal dugout and over near the on-deck circle, fouling them off.
Wainwright, a 3-time All-Star, former All-State footballer as a punter and place kicker. Strike 3 call. Got the call at the knees. His second strikeout. Padres go in order again. It's still 4-0 St. Louis. St. Louis, our Ram trucks tools of the trade.
Well, Abraham Almonte in center field. You notice on that play, he was playing on the first base side of second base. Back at Petco Park, he goes 103 plus feet and leaps to make the grab. And then last night, breaking to his left a little bit, but then turning on the Jets to squeeze this one for the out.
That was a big play. The Cardinals had a couple of men on, and off the bat, that looked like a Texas leaguer.
Any way you can save runs, right? Getting dirty for your pitchers. Nice plays.
Carpenter started the 4-run first inning with a sharp single to center field. So they start at the very top of the order again. 9 men to the plate in the first. And once again, he falls behind 2-0. National League leaders on base percentage by leadoff hitters. Carpenter at the very top of the list, 376.
Let's just say the way it is. The guy's a pest, right? He's the guy you want on your team. He does a great job of taking pitches, Dick. You just said that earlier.
No one takes more in the National League than Carpenter. Almost 5 pitches per at bat. So he's willing to take a first pitch strike.
Remember, Brett Butler was like that. One of the better leadoff guys, true leadoff guys back in the day. With the Braves, with the Indians, with the Giants.
Only one negative for Carpenter, and it's a bit surprising. He has struck out 85 times. And for a man that walks so much and hits so well, you wouldn't think that he'd be also #1 on the team in strikeouts. Fly ball to right, hit well. Venable a long way to go, and he won't get there. A home run, Carpenter, first row, his 7th of the season. And occasionally he'll do that to you. 5-0 St. Louis.
I think OD may have gotten beat on the breaky ball. Boy, Carpenter, you talk about letting the ball travel here. Another two-part swing. We saw some from John Jay. He took that stride, kept his hands back, almost like a slow-pitch softball approach.
Nice shot to first, and Gobert making a good glove play to take that one out of right field off the bat of Kelton Wong. One away. Well, the Cardinals don't hit many home runs. In fact, they're last in the National League and next to last in the Major League. So the fans enjoying Carpenter just getting it over the wall for his 7th of the season.
Well, he stayed back on that curveball very nicely.
Johnny Peralta, 2-run homer earlier in the series for his 16th to lead the Cardinals in that category. Fly to right field the first time. Espana, one of his strengths is he hasn't given up the long ball. Only 3 home runs coming into the start today.
I just really haven't seen him try to. I mean, I'd like to see him like maybe scrape home plate with a fastball.
That ball hit pretty well to center field, but Almonte has a lot of turf out there and able to squeeze the second out. Time for our Sequan Casino Daycation stat of the game. Cardinals are a tough team to punch out. They do not strike out much. Look at well ahead of Arizona and Cincinnati. Fewest times their hitters have been struck out.
Yeah, you put the ball in play, you take your chances, right?
No strikeouts today. Only 5 strikeouts in the game last night. High fly ball, another chance for Almonte in the gap in left center. And that'll do it for the Cardinals in the second, but they add on. Matt Carpenter's home run makes it 5-0. Tony La Russa, as he's introduced once again up in the press box. Tony in turn thanking them. He brought the Cardinals yet another World Series championship. 11 World Series titles in the history of this great franchise. 123 seasons they've been playing professional baseball here in St. Louis. Will Venable, Alexi Amarista, and Espana for a pinch hitter here in the third. No one throwing in the bullpen, so apparently Espana will hit. You've got to save the pen. Venable has had good success here at Busch. He's hitting .361 in this yard. And against St. Louis overall, a .313 hitter. 1-1.
Well, now it's time to put together good at-bats, a walk here, a hit there. Take your chances that way. Adam Wainwright, we saw the numbers, pitches better on the road than at home. His ERA at home is 3.66. But the Padres got a big hole to dig out of here. He's also one of those guys, Dick, and you know this from watching him. Once he gets in that groove.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he starts to locate, and he's tough.
With a 5-run lead, pitching very comfortably. He can play around with his pitches and action, as you said, different motions, different speed of his pitching motion. Go fast, go slow, hesitate, take speed off the fastball, off all of his pitches.
Yeah.
He likes to change speeds. And he catches Venable looking at the curveball. That's the third strikeout. And a look at our top tier player profile brought to you by Arco. Check on Adam Wainwright. Look at that, third in the National League in ERA, third in opposing batting average, third in innings pitched. I mean, he's an all-star. One out to Amarista. Lexi starts today at 2:29. Walked a couple of times last night. Intentionally passed both times.
You know, and to think that Adam Wainwright was drafted by the Braves, was traded to the Cardinals. Jason Marquis was in that deal.
Yes, he was.
Ray King was a left-handed reliever. J.D. Drew went to the Braves.
Well, that was a winning trade for the Cardinals, wasn't it? He was originally a #1 pick. It was no secret. He was a talented player out of high school. He was the 29th overall selected by the Braves. But has brought his immense skill here to the St. Louis Cardinals. Won 19 last year, tied for the National League lead. Won 19 back in 2009, led the National League. High pop foul out of play. Won 20 in 2010. Then he had elbow surgery, missed all of 2011. And came back and won 14 the next year.
Here's that trade we were talking about with the Braves back in 2000. 2003. He was drafted in 2000.
A little soft fly, foul territory. Carpenter has it for the second out. Time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SDFanPhoto. A chance to have it shown in an upcoming game telecast brought to you by AT&T. I'll show you our photo later in the game. Ninth man to bat against Wainwright. Still no base runners. Despaigne 0 for 13. When he gets his first major league hit, stop the presses.
Hey, it might be one of those days, right, where Buddy says, you know what? You're going to go out there, you're going to get to a pitch limit and just try to chew up some innings, right? There is an off day tomorrow. But still, Dick, like you mentioned, you want to try to save some of those arms in the bullpen, even though there is a day off tomorrow. Got 3 against the Doyers.
And he strikes out on 3 pitches, 4 strikeouts for Wainwright. He's been perfect through the first 3, and the Cardinals lead it 5-0. All right, thank you, Mike. Well, the Angels indeed in 4 games made up 4. They were down by 4 to Oakland. Oakland's lost 4 in a row. The Angels win 4 that quickly. They're tied for first. Ooh, a shattered bat. And John Jay hustles to first, but Despagne there for the 3-1 putout. Looking at the American League on this Sunday, as we're getting down to about 40 games left in the season. Baltimore leading by 6.5, comfortably over Toronto and New York. Kansas City barely ahead of Detroit. Cleveland's still in the story. They're in the Central. Angels and A's are tied. That's going to be a terrific run to the pennant.
And tight in the wild card. My goodness, the Yankees 4 games out. You know, talked to Bud Black this morning, or was it last night after the game? Padres are 6 out in the wild card.
Yeah, but a lot of teams ahead of them.
Sure,
that's the problem.
That's tough to gain ground.
1 strike to Taveras, who flied to center his first time. Then Peter Borges, who singled in a run in the first. Just scuffling today. Samir Despagne. We haven't seen him quite like this.
Yeah, believe me, those days like this, not fun. Mama told me there'd be days like these. Strange days indeed.
2-1. Is that one well off the mark again?
Goes from the first base side of the rubber, getting that angle on the inside part of the plate, and down and away to the lefties. Despagne.
Nice stop by Despagne. That was headed toward center field. Taveras tosses his bat. He thought he had a base hit. Yeah, that was in the playoff mood. Let's look at the National League leaders. Washington, a healthy lead against Atlanta and Miami. Milwaukee just 3 in front of St. Louis, 4.5 Pittsburgh. Cincinnati is only 7 out. And the Dodgers have a 4.5 game lead over San Francisco. And the Padres 10.5 back at the start. Ground ball to Amarista. Borges is out, and a 1-2-3 inning, all on ground balls. That's more the Despagne we've learned to love and like. Padres Baseball, brought to you by Petco, the power of together. And by your San Diego Lexus dealer. A very wet winter and spring and summer. And so lots of green, beautiful flowers here in the Midwest. Redbird country. A lot of brick walls around the city. And when you look at the old part of the city, a brick building after brick building.
Love it.
Got a nice little nugget for you in that regard as we go to the top of the 4th. Solarte grounded to short. There was a nice article in the newspaper yesterday reflecting on how times have changed since the turn of the century, 1900. St. Louis was the 4th largest city in the U.S. At that time.
I'll bet because of the river. A lot of trade probably up and down the Mississippi. So this is probably one of the main stops, huh?
New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, and then St. Louis was the 4th largest. And you'll get a kick out of some of this. They had 95 hotels way back in 1995. 95 hotels. There's a lot of them. I think, again, traveling the Mississippi and traveling west. 27 breweries.
Well, you got to stay lubed up, right?
Yeah. Fly ball off the bat of Solarte in the shallow left. Can that drop? And John Jay able to run it down. That's 10 in a row retired by Adam Wainwright.
You need that oil, right? To keep you going. Calm you down a little bit.
But here's what I found most fascinating. There were 30 brick factories in St. Louis. 30 brick factories. And you see the evidence of that even to this day in the city. How many buildings are completely made of brick.
That's because of probably the harsh winters, right? And the summers, obviously.
Oh, and you'll like this one. There were 13 sausage makers.
Love it.
All right.
Yeah. Nothing like a good old-fashioned sausage sandwich.
Soft liner on one hop off the bat of Almonte, and Wainwright is cruising along. He's not throwing any bricks, is he?
I thought you were going to talk about my free throw shooting as a kid, talking about all those bricks.
The clangers. And finally, 41 singing societies.
Wow.
No, that's where times have changed.
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't have really radio or television. So you went to church or you found some music and you joined a group and you sang.
And then when you didn't go in person, you sat around the radio, right? And you listened to all the shows back in the old days.
Not in 1900.
No. You played Pictionary. A lot of miming, right?
But I'm sure all the nursery rhymes that we've taught our children through the years singing as kids, and they remember so much better by singing a song. Those go all the way back.
Did you know that Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall?
No way.
He had a great fall.
Hey, he was an egg, wasn't he? That's dangerous.
Yeah. It was a good egg.
Was it a brick wall?
There you go.
Let's try to
seal it up, put a bow on it.
Yeah, they say, will you shut up and go back to the game? And yes, we will. Seth Smith, the only one in the Padre lineup that really hit a ball well. Deep left center field, caught on the run by Borges. And he's down on the count 1-2.
You know, when Wainwright gets that feel for that backdoor breaking ball to the left-handed hitters, watch out.
Get Smith to go after that pitch above the shoulders. 1-2 it remains.
Yeah, that one looked like it was by design.
Oh, Adam Wainwright, remember last year, he was second in the National League Cy Young voting behind Clayton Kershaw. And he was second 4 years ago as well behind his teammate Roy Halladay. So he's just been a solid big league star for a long time. Just missed the outside corner. 2-2. Smith walks more than any Padre. Picked up his 100th hit of the season, the first Padre to hit the century mark last night. Outside. And 3-2, the first time Wainwright has had a full count. He's perfect so far, 11 in a row. And there's the first hit of the game as Smith beats the shift, even with second baseman Wong playing shallow right field. He rifles one over his leaping try, and the Padres have their first base runner.
High two-seamer away, and Seth Smith does a fine job. See how he got on top of that one? And you got to really make an effort to get on top of that, not to work underneath it, to keep that ball on a high pop fly to the infield or the outfield. So a nice swing right there by Seth Smith.
With Yasmani Grandal coming up, they'll use the shift on him. with third baseman Carpenter going over to play on the right side nearest second base. Wong out on the grass. Adams holding on the runner Smith. 2 outs here in the fourth. 5-0 Cardinals. And Grandal fly to right field his first time. Hitting left-handed, he hit a long home run on Friday night in the 9th inning. Pat Neshek, 431 feet to straightaway center. He felt it's one of the hardest balls he's ever hit, way up, halfway up on the grassy hitter's backdrop. Over but low on the curveball. 1-1. 10 home runs for Grandal now, second to Smith on the team, and all 10 have been hitting left-handed.
There's that cutter again. That's a tough pitch to keep fair. You do one of 3 things: swing through it, foul it off your shin, or send it over towards the Cardinal dugout like Yasmani did right there. Tough to keep fair.
About the time you take it, he's punching you out.
Yeah. Or you're so aware of that pitch inside that he'll drop that fastball away, or he'll backdoor that breaking ball to you.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count.
There's that backdoor breaking ball.
And the 5th strikeout for Wainwright. Padres with their first hit. Smith left at first. It remains 5-0 for the home side.
Only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Tune in to America's pregame weekdays at 3 p.m. Pacific. Only on Fox Sports 1. And to find a Fox Sports 1 on your cable satellite provider, all you got to do is go to foxsports1.com.
How'd it go last night? You called the game on Fox Sports 1.
It went really well. I had a great time with Eric Collins. The rain delay was something to be, it was an hour and 46-minute rain delay. But the good thing is, Padres came out on top 9-5.
Yeah, you got a nice high-scoring game. Lots of interesting plays. Odrisamer Despaigne, after giving up 4 in the first and a home run to Carpenter in the second for a 5-0 lead, retired the side in order in the third. Faces Cruz, Wainwright, and Carpenter here in the fourth. First pitch strike. Cruz singled in a run in the 4-run first inning. 5 Cardinal hits. Went the opposite way. Little extra action there. Coming more 3/4. 0-2.
He broke some bats last half inning, didn't he? Despaigne getting in the kitchen off the end of the bat.
Not quite sure what Grandal wants or whether or not that's the pitch he wants to throw here. He's ahead 0-2. See what Grandal sends out there.
Fastball away.
Didn't quite get it away enough. Fouled away. Now the Padres off tomorrow, and our next telecast here on Fox Sports San Diego Tuesday night 6:30 for Padres Live, the pregame show. Ian Kennedy will go against former Padre Kevin Correa. First of 3 against the first place Dodgers. So it'll be Eric Stoltz on Wednesday. All 3 of the games are TV time 6:30, and Tyson Ross will pitch the Thursday night game against Zach Greinke. That's quite a matchup. Hope you'll join us. And then the Padres go to Arizona from Los Angeles for 3. Did he go? Yes, he did. Strike 3. The first punch out for Despaigne. He's now retired 7 in a row since the home run by Carpenter. That ball is hit well to left field. Smith chased back, and makes the catch against the wall. Wainwright gives it quite a ride. We told you he has 6 career homers, flirts with number 7, gets a hand as he jogs back to the dugout.
You know, Seth Smith has done a nice job out in left field. This is a pitch right down the middle. Wainwright, being the athlete he is, puts a good swing on it. Seth has gone towards the line. He's come in to make some spectacular plays, and he goes back on that one, and nice job backing up is Almonte, as the other starters in the Cardinal dugout were hoping for something better.
If he had pulled that ball at all, it would have been a homer. He hit to a deep part of the yard. That's about 390 out there. Leadoff man Carpenter in the Padres here, both at bats. Single to start the first inning, came around to score, and then homered his 7th of the season in the second inning. So 2 for 2, 2 runs scored.
Mentioned earlier how OD goes from the first base side of that rubber to get that angle.
Sharply hit. Gobert has trouble, but they get the out as Despaigne covers, and it's a 1-2-3 inning, and 8 in a row, 9 in a row now for Despaigne. Significant in our history, and it's time now for our San Diego fans of the game. Well adorned Looks like father and son carrying the Padre colors.
Well, looks like they got some pretty darn good seats, too, down close to the action.
And the Padres hope to give them a little action to cheer here in the 5th inning against Adam Wainwright. Cruising along on a one-hitter, leading 5-0. Looking at the big games, single games, most RBIs in a single game. Jerko was 6 against Miami and 5 last night. Rivera had a 5 RBI game.
Hopefully runners getting on for Jed and keep swinging the bat like he did last night, going the opposite way and then hitting that grand slam.
His 2nd grand slam of the season and 3rd overall. Fly to right field his first time up against Wainwright. .88 on the fastball.
Yep.
Well, that's almost a hit me fastball, isn't it?
It's, you know what? Remember what Ricky Horton was telling us? He was telling us he'll change speeds on all of his pitches now. Nothing wrong with a get me over fastball at 88. He said that, you know, he'll live around 91, maybe 92.
Jerko reaching for that one, 1-2.
And for baseball fans, Ricky Horton, a left-hander, pitched for the Dodgers, pitched for the Cardinals quite a bit. Now does TV for Fox Sports Midwest. Always exchanging notes with the left-hander. There's the left-hander with the Mad Hungarian on the left, Al Raboski. Couple of left-handers.
How does that work?
Yeah, really.
2 left-handers in the same booth?
Watch out.
Yeah. You know what they say, you know. Quit thinking, you left-handers. You're hurting the club. That's a pair to draw to. 2-2 to Jerko. Up the middle softly. It's going to be a tough play for Wong, but he makes it. One hop throw just in time to get Jerko. First Jed not the speediest Padre, and Wong makes a nice play to deny him an infield hit.
That is a very nice play. Flipping it, and then the accuracy, and then Adams, does he pick it? Yes, he does. So credit Big City Matt Adams with a nice play as well. Both ends.
Nice play by the rookie second baseman. 1 out, and Jake Gobert took a 3rd strike his first time. Only 73 as he spins that one outside. Change up at 83. And with 1-1 the count, now they put on the shift. That's interesting. They don't do it at the start of the at-bat. Now Carpenter has moved over to the second base side.
Let's see if he throws him some off-speed stuff here. There's a breaking ball.
Yeah, he's going to try to bunt against the shift and not close.
And I think maybe, Dick, maybe not the main reason, but remember, earlier at bats with Gobert, he's been pulling that cutter a lot, right? That last pitch was a cutter. Jake tries to counter with the push bunt the other way. But maybe thinking, hey, if I'm going to throw him that cutter, I'd rather have the infielders, more infielders on the right side to counter if he puts the ball on the ground.
You got to figure the pitch is going to be on the inside part of the plate here. No, he goes outside, and a line drive to left field, base hit. So Gobert beats the shift, goes the opposite way. That's kind of puzzling, isn't it? How they put the shift on after a 1-1 count, and then he pitched him outside.
Tried to backdoor the breaking ball again. And once again, Jake Gobert puts together, there's the curveball, and he stays on it. You know, generally speaking, you throw a right-handed pitcher throws a breaking ball, a curveball to a left-handed hitter, chances are you're going to pull it. That one was away, and he stays on it. I want to say he's almost inside-outing a breaking ball there.
Yeah. Good hitting by Gobert. 1 out, and here's Venable. The Padres are one swing away from making this game interesting. Trailing 5-0. They need something big to happen against Wainwright, but along with his many outstanding statistics, he is the toughest starting pitcher to homer against. He's allowed only 6 home runs all season, and that comes up to about a home run every 3 games of 9 full innings of pitching. So you're going to have to get your runs by collecting 2-3 hits. A ball and a strike. Will took a 3rd strike his first time. 5 strikeouts, no walks from Wainwright. Shot by Wong. Thought he was going to catch that one. And Gobert is going to gamble and go all the way to 3rd. He didn't hesitate at second base. And the runners are at the corners for the Padres here with 1 out in the 5th inning. Venable, a sharp shot just under the glove of Wong.
The sound of this one on the sweet spot for Will Venable and then Colton Wong. But I want to focus on Jake Gobert. See how he held his ground? And then by Wong slowing it down, Jake Gobert thought, you know what? The center fielder, right fielder, they got to go get that baseball. It was slowed down. So a long run for Borges. Tavares, he takes the extra 90 feet. That's heads up.
Chance for the Padres to get on the board. 1st and 3rd, 1 out to Amarista. He fouled out the first time. Ball 1. So Adam Wainwright able to pitch from the full windup through 3 2/3 innings until the single by Smith in the last inning with 2 outs. Now here in the 5th, first time seriously the Padres have threatened. Good cut by Amarista. Padres have the pitcher spot due next, and Tommy Medica's in the on-deck circle. Infield back up the middle looking for a double play chance. Of course, Adams holding on the runner Venable at first base. Anything hit the Carpenter, he'll have the election of going to the plate or to first or a double play. Line drive, base hit. In comes Gobert, and the Padres are on the board. A line single for Amarista, his 22nd RBI of the year. Venable stops at second. 3 consecutive singles off Adam Wainwright, showing that he's human here in the 5th inning. And now Tommy Medica to bat for Despagne.
Hanging breaking ball. And once again, Jake Gobert taking the breaking ball the other way. How about Amarista taking the ball the other way?
5-1 St. Louis. Padres trying to carve into that big early lead, and Medica steps up. 1st and 2nd, 1 out.
Why not run into one right here? Although very stingy, as Dick mentioned, the home runs given up by Wainwright, only 6 in 24 starts prior to today's start. That's pretty darn good.
Medica, rough series, 1 for 11.
Oh.
87-mile-an-hour fastball. Most earned runs allowed in a game this season, 7. Giants and Brewers got him, and the Cubs for a half dozen.
Okay, Tommy pulled off that cutter just a little bit. Opened up just a little bit too soon. Pitch was right down the middle, looked like.
Ball fouled away. 2 strikes the count. They were teasing Medica with the high fastballs. He struck out 4 times in the game earlier, and even the starter Lance Lynn quoted in the paper the next day, just figured you throw a pitch out of the strike zone high and he'll swing at it. So he's trying to correct that. Doesn't go after that high fastball. 1-2. That ball between the letters and the waist, he can do a lot of damage with that fastball.
Absolutely. Middle in as well. We've seen Tommy Medica turn on some pitches inside. Southland Technology, Fox Tracks at high fastball. Tommy Medica's not biting.
Just got the head of the bat on that one, and the count remains 1-2.
There's that cut fastball again.
Venable at second, Amarista at first. 3 straight singles, Gobert, Venable, Amarista to produce a run here in the 5th inning. Adams, the first baseman, breaking in behind Amarista. Time called by Medica. Solarte on deck. Padres with their first run of the game. It's 5-1 St. Louis, and trying to add on here with 1 out and 2 men aboard for Medica.
You can see Wainwright, what he's trying to do there. Away, a lot of pitches in, trying to stay out of the heart of the plate, going up and out of the zone.
Fouled out of play, right field side. It remains 1-2.
Tim Stauffer heating up. He'll be the next Padre pitcher.
Espanier, after giving up 4 in the first and a home run in the second, finished with 9 straight outs. Wainwright staring in for a long time here, so Medica will step out. Think about this inning. It started with Jerko almost beating out an infield hit, Wong making a good play, and then 3 straight singles. It could have been really an explosion for the Padres, relatively speaking, against Wainwright.
Well, 2 cutters that Tommy Medica has fouled over near the Cardinal dugout the last 2 pitches. So Tony Cruz out to have a chat, saying, hey, you think this guy's on our cutter? What do you think you want to do here? You want to try to bust him in? You want to go with the hook? He's gotten beat with the hook the last 2 times. Gobert, Amarista.
22 pitch inning for Wainwright, the only inning in which he's had to really bear down. Skies lighten a bit. This gray Sunday in St. Louis. 1-2. Fastball inside. Wainwright being very deliberate here. You see, this has been by far his biggest test in terms of number of pitches in an inning.
See if we can crack the code. 2-2-3. I'm guessing cutter. First sign after 2, cutter away.
Hangs the breaking ball, curveball inside.
I'll tell you what, he was buckling my knees. I buckled my knees up here in the booth after I was anticipating the cutter away. Got a little jelly leg on that curveball.
I hate it when you get a jelly leg up here.
Oh, man.
So, good at bat for Medica. He's worked hard, fouled off several pitches, has the count full. 2 men aboard.
I'm guessing fastball away here.
Wainwright will be 33 later this month. Full count. High fly ball, center field, hit well, but Borges out there to make the catch. Both runners tag, and they both will advance. Second and third with 2 outs on the long fly ball by Medica. So a single could get the Padres within 2 here as we go to the top of the order, and Jan Solarte. Good heads up base running.
Yes.
Especially Amarista at first.
Now the Cardinals can't go the short way, right? 2 outs, a force at second base.
Solarte has grounded to short and flied to left, so he's gone the opposite way both times. That was a 10 pitch at bat for Medica.
Nice battle right there by Tommy.
Slow curveball, not quite in the zone. Venable at third, Amarista at second. 2 outs here in the 5th, a run home. Lashed foul at the far end of the Padre dugout. Oh, nice play by Wainwright. He can't make a play at first base. He able to keep it out of center field, but it was hit so hard it caromed off Wainwright. Don't know whether that got him in the shin or in the glove, but the trainer's going to go out and see. Padres get a run as Venable scampers home on the RBI infield hit from Solarte. It's a 5-2 game.
This ball smoked. Breaking ball, stays on it. One hopper off the inside of the left leg, it looked like, in between the knee and the ankle.
Playing goaltender there.
Yeah, hockey suit. Best thing to do is just grab it.
So a 4-hit inning for the Padres. They've got 2 home and bring the tying run to the plate in the form of Almonte. Amarista to third. So first and third with 2 out to Almonte, who has struck out and grounded to second. Singles by Gobert, Venable, Amarista RBI hit, and now an RBI hit from Solarte off the pitcher Wainwright.
Here's where you need the extra base hit. 2 outs, crack of the bat, possibly scoring that runner from first.
Foul ball. Just foul. Put a dent into the game of Adam Wainwright here in the 5th. Cutting the lead to 5-2 with plenty of time to go and an opportunity to add more here in this inning. Again, taking tons of time, Wainwright, between pitches. So Almonte steps out.
Good hack, yeah. The last few hitters for the Padres have done a nice job staying back on the breaking ball, the curveball from Adam Wainwright.
Two strikes on Almonte. Padres at the corners. 2 outs in the inning and 2 runs home. Rolled toward the mound, and Wainwright will just wait for Almonte for the tag, and the inning is over. But the Padres get 2 runs on 4 singles and leave 2. And we're at the halfway mark in this one. The Padres trying to get to the star Adam Wainwright. 2 runs home. They trail by 3. All right, Mike. In fact, if Miami wins today, they'll even their record at 62-62. Our pitching change. Tim Stauffer coming in, brought to you by Drew Ford.
Well, Tim is used to this. See the games. 32nd game here. He's got 3 starts. Had plenty of time to warm up. Should be hot and ready to go for Tim Stauffer. Keep the Redbirds at 5.
4-2 his record. Almost entirely in long relief. As you mentioned, 3 starts. Wong lines it by Jerko into right field. Solid single by Kelton Wong to greet Stauffer. That ends a string of 9 straight Cardinal outs. Young man from Hawaii. Nice addition to the St. Louis team.
Yeah, short, quick stroke. That pitch was up and away. And they're smiling in Hawaii. University of Hawaii product, Colton Wong.
Stauffer's job here now after the Padres got 2 in the top half of the inning to make it more interesting. Check the Cardinals hold serve. But he's got to get through the tough part of the order. Here's Peralta with Adams on deck. Ball 1. Five runs, 7 hits for the Cardinals with Wong single. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Padres. That fan must really like to hear himself.
He loves the Redbirds.
Yeah.
Hey, we're at the Boneyard, right?
I guess.
Yeah, he's right below us.
Yeah, can we get him out of our booth, though? I mean, just misses. 2-0.
Let's go Padres! Let's go Padres! Let's go Padres!
You can outshout him. Mark Grant creating a stir here at Busch Stadium.
I love the fans here.
2 balls and a strike to Peralta. He's flied out twice. Infield set for 2.
Good slider from Timmy right there.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Peralta, the shortstop. Good series coming in. 5 for 12, a home run and a couple of doubles for Peralta. The next home run he hits will be the most ever hit by a St. Louis shortstop. He has 16 currently.
Yeah, tied with Edgar Renteria. Remember him way back in the day?
Yeah.
Man. They might send him here.
And they do. They stay out of the double play as Wong goes to second. And Peralta retired 6-3 as we go to Chris Budden. Chris.
But with the Padres having to go to the bullpen here in the 5th, it's worth noting that Joaquin Benoit will not be available today. In fact, he's not even in the bullpen today. He's in the dugout. His shoulder's been barking at him recently. It's nothing major, but with the day off tomorrow, they want to be able to give him a couple days rest. So Joaquin Benoit not available today.
All right. Thank you, Chris. That means the closing duties probably fall on the arm of Kevin Quackenbush, huh?
Yep.
Here's Adams, a single and a fly to center. Starts him with a fastball strike. Wong now in scoring position. Matheny by a kid having the runner on the move stayed out of the double play. There's Quackenbush. Foul ball.
I tell you, Kevin Quackenbush, he could have, if he's not going to play winter ball during the offseason, he could probably travel with the House of David with that beard, right?
Yeah.
The old travel ball team back in the day.
Boy, they look relaxed out there, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. They've got to gear it up. They don't want to pump that adrenaline too soon. When the bell rings, then it's a different attitude. Got that one by Adams. 0-2. Well, that's a punch out as Adams acted as though he still had another strike. Now he strolls slowly back to the dugout. Stauffer with his first strikeout.
Hey, Tuesday, catch an all-new horse racing special of SD Live. Catch trainer Bob Baffert jockey Mike Smith and president and CEO of the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club, Joe Harper, talked about the $1 million TVG Pacific Classic at Del Mar. This and more coming up Tuesday after Padres Live right here on Fox Sports San Diego.
Yeah, that Pacific Classic, that's a big $1 million race. Well, you're talking about in that show, Hall of Famers, Mike Smith, the jockey, Hall of Famer trainer Bob Baffert. Joe Harper should be in the Hall of Fame. His contribution to thoroughbred racing his entire life. Great man to have running that Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. Stauffer 0-2 to John Jay, who singled in 2 runs in the first inning. He's been a thorn in the side of the Padres in the series. He's 4 for 6. He's been hit 4 times. He's also walked. And he's driven in 4. Came off the bench as a pinch hitter with a key 2-run single. That was in the game on Thursday night. That broke a 2-2 tie. Padres would get a run back in the 9th, but fall short 4-3.
Looks like Tim flipping up some sliders there. You see by the Fox tracks, brought to you by Southland Technology. Outer half of the plate down. Pitch number 4 wasn't biting on that one.
Mm, 2-2. Just missed. It's kind of a contradiction, isn't it, to have a J in a Cardinal uniform?
There you go. You're thinking Toronto, aren't you?
Well, the Jays are blue. Huh?
Right.
Wasn't he with Toronto? I don't know. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Little looper on the infield, and Solardi squeezes it. He was jammed on that one. So good pitching by Stauffer leaves a man at second. We've completed 5 in St. Louis. San Diego presents Padres Baseball, brought to you by Sequam. Real friendly and real close. By Jack in the Box. Try Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo, just $4.99 plus tax. And by the Aramco Group. Purchase, refinance, reverse. Visit us at aramco.biz. 5 innings complete here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Cardinals 5 runs on 7 hits, no errors, have left 3. Padres 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors, have stranded 3. Big story, first inning explosion against Espana. 4 runs on 5 hits for St. Louis. By the way, John Jay has been a lifetime Cardinal, was signed by the Cardinals as a 2nd-round pick back in 2006. But he's still a Jay.
Yeah. And, you know, this is going to be an interesting inning, Dick, here in the 6th against Wainwright got the heart of the order. Smith, Grandal, Jerko after they got to him in the 5th.
Jay singled the last time, the first Padre hit. That was in the 4th inning. Wainwright had retired the first 11 straight. One and one. Seth with a single and 2 at bats today, now hitting .298 as he stands in there. Outside, 2 and 1. Padres making Wainwright work. He had a couple 3 easy innings, but that last inning needed 31 pitches. Now that's hiked his pitch count up to 85 now at the moment. High drive to left center field. That ball is caught on the run by Jay. For a moment thought it had enough carry to clear, but Jay had measured it perfectly and denies Seth Smith the possible extra base hit.
You know, looking at that play, John Jay makes it look easy. He's very athletic. We've seen him in center field. In fact, we've seen him in every position in the outfield. And that ball slicing off the bat over his head. It's a big first out. Ball was squared up nicely.
Grandal is fly to right and struck out. That slow curveball drops in for strike 1. Jerko on deck. Jet 0 for 2, a fly out and a hit taken away by Wong at second base. Change up. Shift on. Third baseline wide open. And a pop-up. Catcher Cruz. Boy, that's a tough catch.
Yeah,
Wainwright had a better play than he did.
Absolutely. You know, as a catcher on the pop-up, you got to turn towards the infield, right? This is Wainwright's ball all the way. This ball's tailing back towards the infield, so it's very awkward to grab right there by Cruz. Bottom line, he caught it. Now it's time for the Cholula flamethrower. Adam Wainwright, 92, with a little bit of movement, relying on some location.
So earlier in his career, you'd get up to 95. Getting the job done. Takes a little off the fastball on occasion. Jerko saw a fly ball. It's going to drop into center field for a base hit. Didn't get all of it, but he planted it perfectly in the center field pasture for the 6th Padre hit.
And swinging early in the count. Look at that swing. It looked like it may have been a cutter. But to stay away from that changeup or curveball from Wainwright. Sounded like he snapped that bat. He'll gladly give up that bat for a base hit.
Brings up Jake Gobert. His single with 1 out in the 5th inning started the Padres' 2-run frame. Gobert singled, and Venable with a single. Amarista a line drive RBI single, and another run scored on Solarde's infield hit off the leg of Wainwright. Ball 1. Sixth inning, 5-2. The Cardinals lead. The Padres trying to win this one, split the 4-game series, head to LA, make the trip shorter. Drive into the right field corner, and that ball is fair. Running all the way is Jerko. And they're going to wave him home here. No throw there. The throw's to third base, and it's overthrown, and that ball goes into the stands, and scoring will be Gobert. It's suddenly a 5-4 game as Gobert delivers a double that scores Jerko, and a wild throw by the second baseman, Wong, that skipped all the way into the fans just by the dugout of the Padres. And San Diego says thank you. It's 5-4.
Well, Jake Gobert continues to swing the hot shillelagh, pulling this ball down into the corner and making things interesting. On the crack of the bat, Jerko being sent by Glenn Hoffman. Hey, it's a Little League home run for Jake Gobert. Treats for everybody.
So the Padres, as they rallied yesterday, and now Venable a high fly ball. Center fielder Borges has a beat on it, and the inning comes to an end. If you're scoring, that was a triple, a second triple in as many days for Gobert, and the error gets in the fourth run. Yesterday, last night to win, and now battling back from a 5-0 deficit thanks to Jake Gobert. His second triple in as many games. That's our Bill Howe play of the game. Drove in 3 yesterday with a bases loaded triple, and rifles went into that corner again today to knock in 1, and then scored himself on the throwing error by Wong on the relay to make it a 5-4 game. Bottom of the 6th inning, Taveras, Borges, and Cruz against Tim Stauffer.
Well, a chance for Tim Stauffer now to get some quick innings here and hold the Cardinals at 5, making things interesting. And Dick, how about Jake Gobert? He's put some good swings on.
1-1. 2 balls and a strike to Taveras, who's flying to center, hit the ball hard, but right back to the mound. Desanya made a good snare of his comebacker.
So hopefully Timmy can throw up a 0 there. His spot is due up in the order second next half inning in the top of the 7th. Get back quickly in that dugout.
Fly ball shallow and right. A long run for Venable and for the first baseman Gobert.
Did you see Gobert?
Yeah, he can hustle.
Oh my gosh, he got down that line quickly, and he got down there in a hurry. That's a long run. He went a long way.
Man from Northwestern University. Up in Chicago or Evanston.
Look at how far he went for that. I don't know whether to call him Wildcat or the Great Pumpkin. I like the Great Pumpkin.
Yeah, he got the family pumpkin patch,
Yeah.
and he's got one of the great smiles in baseball, too. He'll continue to use it. 2-2 now. And a foul by Taveras. Another foul. So in this series, in the first or second inning, the Cardinals have built a 2-0, 2-0, 4-0, 4-0 lead. 5-0 today with a home run by Carpenter in the second inning. Padres edged out 4-3, 4-2 the first 2 games. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Second strikeout for Stauffer. And again, our Bill Howe play of the game. Here it is. Jake Gobert into the right field corner. Lashes that ball. Easily scored Jerko. And now the relay from the right fielder Taveras to Wong, the second baseman. Then Wong was Wong on that throw all the way into the crowd. And Wong, from the Cardinal point of view, just right for the Padres. Gobert goes all the way around to score to make it 5-4. It would be a remarkable comeback if the Padres can beat Wainwright, staking Wainwright to a 5-0 lead. We've got 3 more innings to go. We've seen Seth Maness twice in the series, and he's looked very good. 5 batters faced, 5 outs. 1-1 to Borges. Singled in a run in that 4-run first inning as they rocked Odrisamer Despaigne. 4 runs and 5 hits in the first inning. Slider away, 2-2. So the difference in the game now is Matt Carpenter's solo home run in the second inning. Inside, fastball. Full count to Borges. Base hit to center. He's 2 for 3. Both hits right up the middle. Brings up Tony Cruz, and as we promised you earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo. Tweet your photo to hashtag SDFanPhoto. Chance to be shown in an upcoming telecast brought to you by AT&T.
Oh, Tommy Medica, big fan of Gina's. Gina Spina, right? It's got a good ring to it. And a nice smile as well. Thank you very much, Gina.
And wearing her Padre fedora.
Yeah.
1 out single. Borges sees it first. Tony Cruz, the batter, lined an RBI single to right field in the first inning. Struck out swinging the last time.
Might see some action here. Ah, smelling it.
Borges, 8 stolen bases.
Padres with the pitch out there. They're thinking along the same way.
Wainwright due next. He's thrown 94 pitches, in case you're wondering. Another pitch out.
Oh, what the Roger Craig is going on?
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen that. Back-to-back pitch outs.
That is straight hum baby. Roger Craig. He'll pitch out 2-0.
And that puts Stauffer in the hole.
Yeah.
And if Borges does have a design on stealing, this would be the one to go on. I'm not going to pitch out again.
So you think, you throw him a fastball here, right? Even if it's down and away, it's a good chance for Cruz to take it that way.
Doesn't go, and it's fouled away.
Looks like he had the right idea there, trying to do that, huh? Trying to hit that hole on that right side.
That's what he did in the first inning. That was quite a first inning for the Cardinals. Before you could wipe the sleep out of your eyes. Carpenter singled. Wong walked. After 1 out, Adams singled to load the bases. Jay a 2-run single after a flyout. Borges an RBI single, and Cruz knocked in a run with a single. 4 runs on 5 hits off Despaigne. And the start of the second inning, Carpenter led off with a home run. Just like that, 5-0 St. Louis. Padres have answered as they've rallied with 2 in the 5th, 2 more in the 6th. And now we're down only 5-4.
Borges is so fast over at first base. He doesn't really need to get out to that huge lead.
3-1. Wainwright, a good hitter, as we saw in his last at bat, almost homered. Sent Smith right to the wall in left field to capture his bid. And the count now full. So Wainwright with 94 pitches. The Padres have gotten a couple runs off him in each of the last two. You think Matheny is kind of playing in his own mind with whether to let him hit or use?
Well, if he gets on, I think they'd pinch hit.
Or just might be going here. He is, and it's way outside. Ball 4. So,
or they might have him bunt him over.
Yep. First walk from Stauffer. That pushes Borges into scoring position. But they tried a couple of pitch outs, and that puts Stauffer behind the 8 ball right off the bat.
And Dick, you bring up a good point here. As Jose Akendo, the third base coach, goes down, Wainwright is such a good athlete, and he handles the bat well. And Bud Black's making his way. So everybody thinking strategy here. Wainwright, don't be surprised if he pulls back and swings. And the main idea here is that you want to get those runners over to second, third, but because he swings the bat well, you know, a hit here would score a run. So Buddy's out there saying, and he's done this many times, he's got the whole infield out there. No matter what happens, if the ball's hit on the ground, bunted on the ground, let's get an out here. We need to get an out. Get the sure out. Don't try to get the lead runner if you feel like it's going to be close. We don't want to create a big inning here.
Padres used that ploy in the game on Friday night with Tyson Ross with a runner on first and 1 out. Ross showed a bunt on the first pitch, and the second pitch pulled it back and singled to left field. Third baseman Carpenter was way in on the grass, had no chance to get it. Gobert will be charging from first base. Solarte has to hold his ground at third. Ball 1. It's such a good play to show the bunt and then swing, because all the infielders are in motion, and they're not in their normal position. That's a strike. Gobert is way in from first. Solarte shallow at third and then has to go back and cover. Amarista has vacated shortstop. His job is to cover second, and Jerko has left his position to cover first.
You know, Gobert has a chance, right? He can crash all the way this way and get that runner here, as Solarte can cover at third to try to get that lead runner, if they've got a good shot at it.
And being a left-handed thrower, that helps as well. Good bunt. Only play is to first base. Gobert gets back there. Oh, he does hustle. He took it away from Jerko. He said, I'll go and take care of the put out. But the hand for Wainwright trying to help himself, moving 2 runners into scoring position with that perfect bunt. Borges to third. Cruz to second with 2 away. And a tough Matt Carpenter, the batter. Will they pitch to him with first base open and Wong on deck? Single, home run, and a hard ground ball out to first for Carpenter. In the second inning, he had only 6 home runs on the season, but he found just enough room there in right field. Number 7, that made it 5-0. They're going to pitch to him. That's a bit surprising. Strike 1.
Keep the ball away from him right there in that first pitch.
You've got a right-handed hitter on deck in Wong, who's hitting .248, but you could also go to a pinch hitter as well. And I'm playing the chess game. That's what Bud Black must be thinking. Well, he'll go lefty if I decide to walk him. Well, actually, Wong is from the left side. But Carpenter, a more skilled hitter.
I think one of the things Buddy might be thinking here, Dick, is that there's more punch outs in Carpenter. That might be one of the things that Buddy's thinking, right? You mentioned it earlier, and it was a good point about the number of strikeouts for Carpenter this year. 85 before this game.
But he also walks a lot, 68 times to lead the team, and he's worked the count to 2-1. That's a big moment in the game after the Padres have scored 2 in the top half of the inning to make it a 5-4 1-run game.
And you know, it's not so much the first pitch of the at-bat, it's probably the second, third, and fourth pitch that tells you how Tim Stauffer's going to go after him.
Hit well to right center field. Venable started in, now goes back and can't get there. He misread it. 2-run score. It's 6-2. Oh my. Carpenter does it again. Third RBI of the game. Second and third. Venable misread it off the bat. He started in a couple of steps, and then it's too late to recover.
Yeah, his first break off the bat looked like he was going to have a chance.
So it's 7-4 now as 2 runs come home. Borges from third and Cruz from second. Single, double home run for Carpenter, just a triple away from the cycle. And that does a lot of work. The Padres getting to within 5-4. It would have been a tough play had Venable read it correctly and broke back instead of forward. The ball was well placed between the outfielders, but with his speed, I think he would have gotten it.
Oh, I agree with you. I think if he reads it right off the bat, absolutely. Will Venable catches that ball.
Wong hits it deeper this time. Venable, does he have room? To the wall, makes the catch against the wall. But Matt Carpenter does the damage again against the Padres, and it's a 7-4 Cardinal lead. Whip Around weeknights at 7 o'clock Pacific on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Every strikeout, every game ender, every history-making moment on MLB Whip Around.
You know who does a great job on that Whip Around? Mark Sweeney.
He's the best
on the weekends.
Star. Seven to 4. Wainwright staked to 2 bonus runs. And Amarista, who has knocked in a run with a single, starts the Padres 7th inning. Pitcher's spot, Chase Peterson is on deck. And then the top of the order. Two and one to Amarista. .90 on the fastball. Chase Peterson called up from El Paso earlier in the week with the injury to Cabrera. left field, but playing shallow is Jay, and well hit ball is snared by Jay. Well, let's go back to the 2-run double by Matt Carpenter with 2 outs. Watch Venable in right field.
He goes this way, right? And then as the ball is struck,
it comes in more than going to his right. And then by the time he untracks, he's already made up way too much ground, and the ball lands for a 2-run double. Matt Carpenter punishing the Padres again. Venable's got to be upset with himself. Makes the right read. He catches it. Jace Peterson, the pinch hitter. Chase got a start in the Friday night game. A single and a line out in 3 at-bats. 101 tosses now from Adam Wainwright. We're in the 7th, 1 out. Padres trailing by 3. And Wainwright, he's also a Gold Glove pitcher. Won the Gold Glove last year. You can see the ground he can cover, and 2 away.
Yeah, no problem after getting hit in the leg. Also, remember earlier in the game, in between the ankle and the knee, probably in the shin area, no problem. Quick off the mound. All around great athlete.
So Tim Stauffer's day is through. 2 innings, allowed the 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Solarte has knocked in a run with that shot back through the box that Wainwright tried to stop with his leg. Carry him to the first base foul line, and a run scored. He's 1 for 3. Has grounded to short and flied to left the other 2 times. 2-0. Lane Boyer. Boyer pitched 1 year with the Cardinals 5 years ago. 2-0. And 3 balls, no strikes. Solarte. Well, the Padres have had such enormous success when they clear that 3-run barrier. When they get 4, they're 42-5. It's going to be tough for them today because they've got the 4. But look up and see the Cardinals leading by 3. But the Cardinal bullpen has been shaky at best.
Yeah, you see Manus on the right, Choate on the left.
3-1 now to Solarte.
If it were to stay in this inning, I'm guessing Choate would be in there to face Seth Smith. You have the 2 switch hitters at the top of the order for San Diego. Solarte, Almonte.
And ball 4. And that is the first walk given up by Adam Wainwright in the game. Almonte steps up. Strikeout, ground out, and a comebacker. Even though the Cardinals got those 2 gift runs in the last inning, you have to admire this new version of the Padres since the All-Star break. You know, you have a good feeling about them. Even down 4-0, they win last night. Down 5-0 today, they come back within a run and aren't overcome by the other team taking that early lead.
Yeah, they put together some good at-bats against Adam Wainwright. You see the line of the 2 starters, Wainwright into the 7th inning. Just a rough go-around early on for Despagne. Could not locate the fastball, was hanging some breaking pitches.
And then he did a complete reversal, retired the last 9 men he faced. One and one to Abraham. Seth Smith on deck. Almonte gets on there. The Padres will bring up their best hitter, their top home run producer, representing the tying run. That might force the pitching change by Matheny. high, 2-1. Smith has hit the ball hard all 3 times. Only a single to show for it. Deep drive to center and a line shot to left for outs. And he singled to right the other time. Sharply hit, but right to the shortstop Peralta. Across for the out. And that'll do it for the 7th inning for San Diego. Stretch half of the 7th. Busch Stadium, St. Louis, Missouri. Baseball brought to you by Petco, the power of together, and by your San Diego Lexus dealer. With Mark Grant, Chris Button, Dick Hendrick here in St. Louis, downtown St. Louis, one of the landmarks, the old courthouse, just below the arch of St. Louis, the gateway to the west. Blaine Boyer spent 1 year in the Cardinal uniform. 24th time out for the Padres this year.
And last time out for Blaine was on Friday against these same Redbirds. 2 innings, 3 hits, a run. Always working from the stretch. How to hold those Cardinals to 7.
Johnny Peralta 0 for 3. Peralta, then Adams and Jay.
The first out of any inning, we always talk about that, how important it is. Blaine is 19 for 23, first batter faced in retiring that hitter. 19 to 23, not bad.
Ball and a strike.
The last 3 outings, 3 hits in those 2 innings we just talked about on Friday. He struck out a Cardinal. And then a no-hitter the rest of the way, 2 before that.
Two balls and a strike. Lots of clouds, heavier clouds overhead, but no rain this afternoon. It was drizzling this morning.
I'll be quite honest with you, Dick. I am surprised that we haven't gotten any rain this afternoon.
That's right. It sure looked like it. It just felt like it. 3-1 now, Peralta. And the leadoff walk. That'll bring up first baseman Matt Adams.
And Blaine Boyer upset with himself. He knows he can't afford to do that, trailing by 3. Tell you what, you're not going to meet a nicer guy than Blaine Boyer. And he's the kind of guy you root for, too, with the course of his career, what he has done, enabling to get back to the big leagues. We've documented that, talked about that. How about a nice 2-ball right here on the ground?
Went to Japan to continue his career. Shift is on for Adams. Strike one. Singled in that 4-run first inning today, and then he slid to center and struck out. Solarte on the right side of the infield. Amarista alone on the left side.
And Dick, you mentioned Amarista, right? Why? The shortstop stay there. He's got better range, right? So you move the third baseman over here, and then he's here, and then you run the pattern here, and you go over that way.
The other factor is Amarista used to taking the relay on the double play,
right.
So you don't move him out of there. 2-1 now to Adams. John Jay on deck. Jay with a couple of runs knocked in the first inning, and Carpenter has driven in 3 and scored 2. A home run and that big double that got by Venable, bottom of the 6th. Line drive, double play. Hello. I mean, the sound of the ball in the glove almost matching the sound of the ball off the bat. It was bang, bang, and double play.
And nothing that Johnny Peralta can do, just frozen in his tracks. Very nice. There's that double play we're looking for.
That's right. The Atom Ball double play. Bam, bam.
Did you see Jake? Jake almost reacted like just get out of the way, and the ball just happened to find his glove.
So 2 out, and Jay steps up. It's just
that was kind of a hockey goalie, Jacques Gobert in the pipes.
I like it.
Be a sweet name for a goalie, wouldn't it?
Gobert in goal.
I like Jake Gobert. Big fan. Becoming more of a fan of his each and every day.
He's got just a beautiful personality.
Mm-hmm.
He just immediately says, I like you.
Yep.
I mean, you like him. Broken bat, how do you about that? You line drive a shot, and it's 2 outs, and then you break your bat, John Jay, and you get a base hit. Second hit for him. He's had a terrific series.
Hey, Dick, you want to go over the keys of the game? Remember I mentioned earlier?
Well, crooked numbers. The Padres have done that twice. 2 counts as a crooked number.
Right.
Contain Adams and Peralta. Well, 2 hits by the 2 of them in 7 at-bats. So basically they've been contained. It's been Carpenter at the top of the order, and Jay continues. I mean, what a series for him. He's 5 for 7. He's knocked in 4 runs. He's been on base 5 other times, either hit by a pitch or walked.
And those keys of the game, as always, brought to you by the Honda dealers of San Diego County.
Two outs, and it's Taveras. High fly ball. Venable there to make the catch. And that's it for the Cardinals in the 7th. 2 innings to go. The Padres need 3 to tie. Every game, every decision is important as we head towards September. The pennant races and so many teams in contention. You'll want to stay tuned for all the updates there as well. Randy Choate, veteran left-hander, will face Seth Smith, Yasmani Grandal, and Jed Jerko here in the top of the 8th inning. 7-4 St. Louis. Jane Robinson goes into right field in the double switch. And Robinson slotted in the 6th spot in the batting order, at least based on the scoreboard. Although I would think they would put him in the 9th. They'll use a pinch hitter apparently in the bottom of the 8th, third man up.
Yeah, this is probably Choate's only inning because he is used sparingly. He was used last night. He walked 2. He was off of this location. He walked 2 in a row in the 9th inning. Jerko and Liriano.
Smith, well, could be 3 for 3 today. 3 hard hit balls with just 1 single to show for it. 1-1.
Nice series for Seth.
So no double switch. You can insert Robinson into the 6th spot in the batting order. Another breaking ball. 2-1. Choate reminds you of so much of a typical left-hander that just comes in and side wheels that breaking ball one after another.
Yep. Little deception in that delivery. A lot of guys like that can hang around for a long time, right? A specialist coming to the ballpark and thinking, you know what, I might only have to get 1 or maybe 2 hitters out tonight.
It's the same pitch. All 4 pitches the same, and 3-1 the count.
Guys like Rick Honeycutt back in the day, Jesse Orozco, Tony Fossis,
Kokomo Joe.
Kokomo Joe Thatcher, that's right.
And he throws Smith the fastball. Smith thought that was ball 4. He was on his way to first base, trying to get things started here in the 8th inning. It was a strike based on our Fox track, brought to you by Southland Technology. Caught the knees. So full count.
Keeping it down and away majority of the time. First pitch was the one that leaked inside. Seth has got to think left field right here.
And that's ball 4.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the San Diego Padres. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
Choate, who walked 2 last night in relief, walks the leadoff man, and that does not please Mike Matheny. He's going to yank him right here. So a pitching change here in St. Louis. That'll give us a chance to pause for these words.
Good man.
things and a pitching change made. Pat Neshek, the right-hander, the side-wheeling right-hander, comes in for the Cardinals. Fox Sports Supports is proud to recognize the Army's Gold Star Pin campaign. It honors the families of fallen service members. To learn more, visit goldstarpins.org. So Neshek, who has given up only 5 runs all year in 51 plus innings. One of those, a long home run off the bat of Yasmani Grandal on Friday night.
Wow, look at those numbers. Staggering for Pat Neshek. The splits 149, 128. Only 6 walks, Dick, in 51 plus innings. And I think there's a reason to that. Had a chat with Pat yesterday as Yasmani Grandal swings the shillelagh. Pat said the last couple of years, especially last year with Oakland, he threw too many breaking balls. He was relying on that breaking ball, trying to trick hitters, and realized that I still got a good fastball. And being more aggressive with the fastball.
That was a good example.
Exactly. And it's worked out for him.
Grandal hit that long home run off Neshek to make it 4-2 in the 9th inning, but Neshek went on to save the game 4-2 on Friday. Goes to the off-speed breaking ball way out in front. Grandal.
Take a look at that last pitch. Just a little something off of it.
No one out. Smith at first. The Padres trail 7-4. High fly ball back a second. Wong goes out. 1 away. Jed Jerko steps up.
And I also asked Pat about his delivery. I said, is this something that you maybe tried when you were in pro ball? Is it something that when you were in, little league or something? He goes, you know what? It just is comfortable for me, and it's just something that I've done ever since I was a kid. It just feels comfortable to me.
But you look at that last release, it was almost 3/4. It seems like he's almost a submarining the ball,
right.
but he isn't.
Yep.
His arm angle is from 3/4 down to almost sidearm.
I mean, just the whole setup.
He drops on the start of his motion. He drops the ball so low behind him. It looks like he's going to throw it from down there, but he actually comes.
And Dick, you make a good point, because I think truly, we talk about deception all the time, and I think sometimes it's kind of overrated. But I think with Neshek, the deception does come in a little bit.
He starts up there. Now watch where he takes the ball back. It's almost down between his legs. So it's hard for the hitter to pick up just where that release point's going to be.
Here's the stretch. Well, high, and then he sets low, and then it's like he's going to go submarine, like you said, Dig. But on release point, it's just above the shoulder.
Yeah,
right.
Pretty normal.
We got a lot of moving parts though before that ball is released.
He's ahead. 2 strikes on Jerko. Strikes him out. 2 away here in the 8th.
Just like the old frisbee from Neshek. Watch, he'll get it out there, work around a little bit. That's the old slider, just out and away a little bit.
So Jake Gobert, who's been the hitting star for the Padres today, after he struck out the first time, he has singled and scored and tripled and scored. Knocked in a run with his triple, tying a club record with 56 others. Triples in back-to-back games for the Padres. And he hits it right at the shortstop. Peralta, flip to Wong, inning over. To the bottom of the 8th, the Cardinals by 3. Tuesday. The Cardinals struck early. First inning, 4 runs. 2-run single by John Jay got it started. And they kept right on going. Peter Borges under the glove of Amarista knocked in another 3-0. And Tony Cruz lines one to the right field. Make it a 4-0 game. This is all against Espana, and then Carpenter leads off the second inning with his 7th home run of the season. The Cardinals quickly 5-0. Amarista chips away. RBI single to make it 5-1. Solarte off the leg of Carpenter drives home Venable 5-2, and Gobert got the other 2 runs with a triple, scored himself on a throwing error by Wong on the relay. It was 5-4 at that time, but a ball hit by Carpenter between Venable and Almonte fell for a double and 2 runs off Tim Stauffer in the 6th inning, and that made it a 7-4 game. Lane Boyer into his 2nd inning. Bends one in there for a strike. Borges is 2 for 3. Has knocked in a run and scored a run. A couple of singles. Cruz, and then the pitcher's spot.
That's a good pitcher's pitch right there. Hey, nice catch right there by cameraman Jim. And he gave it to a fan. Nice catch, Jim Foley.
Ooh, shattered the bat. And it goes foul, and Borges will go back to the lumber yard for a new stick.
This is Jim Foley. Oh, nice grab going to his left.
And never losing focus.
That's the key. Looks like Kirk Gibson taking a day off and working camera. He's got the Michigan State green hat on.
Yeah, new candidate for the Cameraman Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Nicely done.
Borges back with a new bat. Splintered on that last swing. 1-2. Swing and a miss. And Boyer has his first strikeout. Tony Cruz, an RBI single, a strikeout, walked and scored.
Hey, I ran into your biggest fan on the walk into the ballpark across the street from the hotel.
Who's that?
Bill from Louisville. They watch. He and his wife Cindy. Cindy's back in Louisville watching today's game. He said he's a big fan of yours, and they watch every game.
That's something. Here they are in Louisville. That's really Cardinal country,
right?
Or Reds country, and they're watching the Padres and rooting for them. That's
so
great.
Bill is here for the weekend series, and Cindy's watching at home. So thanks, Cindy. Appreciate it.
Your husband was behaving, I trust.
Yeah, he's on good behavior this weekend.
1 strike to Cruz. Looking ahead for the Padres in the 9th inning. Venable, Amarista, and the pitcher's spot scheduled.
Well, Trevor Rosenthal, the closer, heating up in the Redbird bullpen.
He really struggled on Thursday night. He got the save, but he was all over the place, gave up a run, and had the bases loaded when he struck out Medica to end the game. And a 4-3 decision, and that was the game in which a couple of calls by the plate umpire really factored into a St. Louis win. One of them involving this man who had clearly swung and missed, but was called a foul tip by the veteran umpire Bob Davidson. And then there was the play at home plate involving Amarista. To right. Just did catch the inside edge. 2-2. So it's been a very interesting series. 2 low scoring teams in the National League, and yet they produced a 9-5 game last night, a 7-4 so far today. So Adam Wainwright stands to win his 15th game of the year to tie for the National League lead. Went 7 innings, allowed 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 7 hits. Walked only 1 and struck out 5. But the Padres got 4 runs. And that might have been good enough, but breaking ball, strike 3. Couple of strikeouts. Borges and Cruz go down here in the 8th inning against Blaine Boyer. Well, tomorrow off day in Los Angeles, Tuesday night. We hope you'll join us 6:30 our TV time. Fox Sports San Diego. Right-hander Ian Kennedy will look for his 10th win of the year. He'll face Kevin Correa, the former Padre. Correa has 1 decision, a win since joining the Dodgers. Came over in the trade with Minnesota. That's tomorrow, not tomorrow night, but Tuesday night. The Wednesday and Thursday night games also at 6:30 here on Fox Sports San Diego. Pinch hitter is Daniel Descalso. Seems like he gets into every game as a pinch hitter. Two outs, bases empty. Grounded out as a pinch hitter last night. Lined out as a pinch hitter on Friday night. And walked and scored a key run as a pinch hitter in game 1. Two and 1. If Descalso reaches safely, Matt Carpenter will get a chance for the cycle. He's on deck. Single, double home run today. High fly ball down the right field line, and that will sail into the crowd. Seattle continuing to play great ball. The Mariners clobbered Detroit today 8-1. Miami beat Arizona 10-3. Curveball lifted to left. Smith back a couple of steps. And Blaine Boyer has worked a solid 1-2-3 8th inning. Padres last call. They need 3. Trailing 7-4.
Padres try and battle back here. Coming up on Padres Live, the post-game show, we'll talk with Buddy Black, see what he saw out of Odrisamer Despaigne in that first inning. What wasn't working for the starting pitcher? And as Jake Gobert continues to excel in his stint up here in the big leagues, what's the biggest change that Buddy's seen out of him? And we'll take you to Colorado. Todd Helton, number 17 number, getting retired today. All that and more coming up on Padres Live, the post-game show with Mark Sweeney and Mike Pomerantz. Back up to the booth, guys.
All right, Chris. Well, it's a packed post-game show Emmy Award-winning Padres Live. So stay with us with Mike and Mark. Lots to share with you. Trevor Rosenthal, he's their closer with 36 saves on the season, but he's had his troubles too, as you can see his one-loss record, 1-6, and an ERA rather high for somebody that's expected to come in and mow down the opposition. He's got a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but he was really struggling to close out the game on, what was it, Thursday night? 4-3 game.
Yeah, tough with the control, with the command. You saw the strikeouts, 70 strikeouts in 56 innings, but high on the walks, and that was evident on Thursday night.
Venable takes ball 2. He came in, gave up a single to Grandal, got an out, then a single to Amarista, then he walked Nelson to load the bases. Jake Gobert came off the bench and singled to right field, and on that play that made it 4-3. But on the play, Amarista trying to score did reach home base safely, but he was ruled out. And even on the challenge, New York said there wasn't enough evidence to clear Brzezinski, the catcher, who acted as though he missed him because he raced back to home plate and tagged him again. Amarista had already reached base, but the final out had been made, 4-3. Hey, it was a good start. And Rosenthal, here a few scattered boos. Fans are getting uncomfortable with his wildness.
Oh, and I'm sure Mike Matheny in that dugout for the Cardinals kind of pacing a little bit.
Venable aboard to get things going. Amarista, RBI single, fouled out and lined to left. Crew's going to go out and talk to his pitcher.
Okay, enough's enough. I've had catchers come out and do that. Come on, let's go. Shake yourself. Really? Are you trying? You got a 3-run lead. You got a good fastball. Let's go after these guys.
In that 9th inning on Thursday night, he gave up 3 hits and 2 walks, and yet only 1 run, and the Padres fell short 4-3. Oh, 2-0. And that's what happened on Friday night, or Thursday night rather. He wasn't just missing, he was way off the plate. And already somebody getting loose in the Cardinal bullpen.
Yeah, Seth Maness is up quickly.
Oh, all over the place. Look at the 1-2-3s there.
Not even close.
He walked Venable on 5 pitches, and now 3-0 to Amarista.
Hey, Mike Matheny's thinking, hey, you know what? If this tying run comes to the plate, I'm going to need a sinker baller out there. I'm going to need a guy who throws some ground balls, and Maness is that guy.
4-pitch walk, not close to throwing a strike. So fans letting Trevor Rosenthal know they don't like the way he's pitching, and neither does the manager, Matheny. And it appears he's going to go out with the hook. Seth Maness has done a good job his 2 times on the mound in the series. Maybe Matheny just going to go out and try to talk him into throwing a strike. I mean, you've got a delicate situation here. He's your closer. He's the man that's supposed to seal the deal for you. And if you pull him out here and bring in someone else to finish the work, in a way, what do you do to him psychologically?
Yeah.
So that's the dilemma that the manager finds himself.
Absolutely, no question.
The many little areas of managing that you wonder, well, why don't you take him out here? He can't throw a strike. Well, yeah. Will he be any good the next time if you do that?
Right.
Or the time after?
Not too many times a manager goes out there and takes the ball from the closer in the 9th, no matter how bad it's going.
That's why he is your closer.
Exactly.
Reimer Liriano, the talented young rookie who's had a good first week in the major leagues, is the pinch hitter. That's a strike. And a derisive cheer from Cardinal faithful. There are 43,149 here. Every game a sellout or near sellout of this 4-game series. 0-2 goes to a breaking ball. Well, Liriano representing the tying run here with no one out in the 9th.
You know, I've just noticed those last 2 pitches. What has Rosenthal done? Everything was up and away out of the zone, right? He's made an adjustment. Last 2 pitches have been down in the zone. Knees or below. Look at that.
Good cut. Fouled back.
98 on the fastball.
After Liriano, the top of the order.
I remember 1989, the year that Mark Davis won the Cy Young Award with 44 saves with the Padres. Jack McKeon took the ball out of his hand once during the whole season. When MD went out there, it was closing time.
And Trevor Hoffman the same. Strike 3 call. He got a call there. That was top of the strike zone and up. But Rosenthal, a little favor from James Hoy.
Top of the zone, 4-seamer.
Pulled down by Cruz, and he gets the call. So 1 away. And here's Jan Solarte, still the tying run up there. 1 for 3 on the afternoon with an RBI. Has 3 home runs since joining the Padres. Ball 1. Ball 2. He had trouble throwing strikes to the left-handed hitters, Venable and Amarista. And now to the left-handed hitting Solarte, the switch hitter. So he's 1 strike in 11 pitches against the left-handers. And he misses again, 3-0. Talk about nerve-wracking for Matheny and the loyal Cardinal fans to watch this outstanding talent struggle with his control. 3-0. Put the tying run on. That's in there at 98.
I remember a closer from the left side, Mitch Williams. Remember Mitch Williams with the Phillies? Oh, my goodness gracious. You talk about giving managers ulcers.
Three and 1. All 4, and the bases are loaded with walks. Solarte joining Venable and Amarista. And Matheny can't watch anymore. He's got to make a move. Rosenthal, you've got to be worried now, walking the bases loaded, that he might just lay a fat one in there, and all of a sudden the 3-run lead becomes the opponents hitting a grand slam. We're going to have a pitching change. Padres have a chance here on the wildness of Rosenthal. Bases loaded. Potential go-ahead run coming up. for Seth Maness. Maness making his third appearance in the series, a 25-year-old North Carolinian. And he throws ground balls, and that's what the Cardinals are hoping they can get here, a possible double play.
Yeah, that's a good call, Dick. Maness fastball, slider, changeup, curveball, 88-92. But here's the deal. Last year, 2013, 16 ground and double plays in 62 innings. You see his innings here, 62 innings. He's already had 11 this year. This is where Mike Matheny wants to go to the right-hander. Hey, enough with the walks. We can't afford any more walks. He needs a ground ball, and that's what he's banking on right here.
Now, Rosenthal loaded him up with walks, and now Almonte, a ground ball up the middle, base hit. That's going to get 2 of them in, and the Padres pull within 7-6 as Almonte delivers a sharp single up the middle, greeting Maness. And the Padres have just shown some great grit in this series. They made every game close, even though they've fallen behind early in all 4 contests.
He does a nice job of staying on that pitch. Maness tries to pound it away. The infield was probably, he was sneaking up there. Peralta was a little bit towards second base, but hit so sharply. Drives in 2. Things are getting interesting here.
Almonte with his 4th and 5th RBIs as a Padre. Tying run now at second. Go ahead represented by Almonte at first, and Seth Smith is the hitter, 1 for 3. Takes outside, ball 1. Smith is lined to left, hit a deep drive to left center, caught by Borges right near the wall, and he's single to right along with a walk. Right man in the right spot, and he rips one. Oh, Adams with a great stop. He picks it up. Wong covers for him and gets the out. Oh my, a 3-4-1 putout. Again, Smith just drills the ball right on the nose, and Adams makes a great stop. Took it right out of right field.
Well, he's the guy you want up at the plate. He's the Padres' best hitter. He hit it on the screws, and you know what? That's just a big league. Hang with him.
You got to be lucky. The ball caroms over to Wong, who backs it up and is able to flip to the pitcher covering.
What a nice play.
3-4-1. So down to the final out, 2 outs. The Padres have the tying run at third, the go-ahead score at second, and Yasmani Grandal the hitter. Ball 1. Grandal 0 for 4 today. 2 for 12 in the series, but one of the 2 a long home run. One ball, 1 strike.
Just a base hit. Just one with eyes. Just a little duck snort.
2 balls and a strike. Solarte the tying run 90 feet away. The go-ahead score carried by Almonte at second. 3-1. Jed Jerko on deck. Homered with the bases loaded last night. Grandal can be patient here, try to get something he likes. Oh, popped him up. Shallow in center. Left fielder Jay calling in left center field, and the ball game is over. So close. Padres fighting from 5-0 down. Get within 1 in the 9th inning, but succumb 7-6. St. Louis the winner. Mike Pomerantz with Padres Live, the postgame show.